Kaboom.
Boom shakalaka boom.
I hope. Wait,
Yeah, we're on.
but why is my screen acting like a fool?
I
All
know.
right. We are on, baby. We're live, Charles.
We are. We live?
Are we? How come I cannot find me? Did I not put it? Oh, there it is. There it is.
What is that?
My phone. My phone acting really silly. It's been doing that for a while. It's been doing that for a while. But anyway, what's up, Charles?
Fine. Hey, I got a message. I just saw it today, and I know it's very important. As you know, I'm a heart patient, right? But I had all my plumbing replaced. Anyway, I didn't know about this magnet that's in the new iPhone 12s. You read about that? And,
No.
and right now they got some concerns because when you hold it up, if you have an iPhone 12, you have a pacemaker or a defibrillator implant because there's a magnet in that phone. It's powerful enough that they already have some cases that it throws it off. So be careful,
Yeah.
folks. Just be careful.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I did see that. It's kind of wow. Mine is an 8. My phone is an 8 plus. It's an old one.
Oh yeah.
And I noticed in the probably last 3 or 4 months, since the 12 came out, I think, and Apple got sued for that. They kind of,
Manipulate. Yeah.
yeah. But I'm not gonna give in. I'm not gonna give in. I'm gonna keep this son of a gun.
You know which is the best phone I tell you I had was the iPhone 6. The six plus.
Yeah.
That was the best. And
Yeah. My work phone, the one I call the bat phone. That's the my office phone.
yeah.
It's a 6, believe it or not. The small one, but it's you know what? No
Okay, good.
problems.
Yeah.
Zero problems.
Yeah.
I just had to reset to factory defaults or whatever because and then it started to work okay. So anyway, whatever.
And you know this,
Thanks.
one thing. If it's not something that's highly recognizable, like one third eye, usually the cameras get 2 and I'll get 3. Yeah. Just like that, bro.
Yeah.
If if wasn't for that, and they'll tell you, oh, it costs more because this phone has his internal duplementary wiring overset processor. You tell yourself, what the hell is that? Well, basically just an extra wire they put in there just in case, and that just in case costs you about $300 more.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Anyway.
Yeah.
Hey guys, so now we got Angela Keene, Hawaii Quarantine Kapu Breakers. Oh man, I forgot my.
Yeah.
So had some activity at the legislature that we're gonna let
Yeah.
Angela discuss some successes for not just her group, but for the state, really.
Yeah.
After last night's show, I know I saw some of your comments. I saw some of your. Let's share this though. Let's get this thing
Yeah.
blown up. Let's get it blown up. All right. But I saw a lot of your comments. I gotta tell you, I don't blame you guys for being upset and disappointed. Um,
But it is
but
what it is, right?
it is what it is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
so ironic that today the White House now and Fauci and everybody's. It's weird. It's like they all watched the show and they came out and they said, "Hey, do not do not lessen the restrictions, even if the numbers are going down because the variants that are coming are bad." The
Well,
conspiracy theorists are going to say, well, that's Fauci, blah, blah, blah. Bottom line is this we're in some challenging times, and now is
mhm.
simply not the time to remove restrictions.
Well, I after last night's show, I felt the need, so I called Fauci. I woke him up, and he said, "Hello," and I said, "Hey, Doc, it's Charlie." Yeah, I said, "Hey, can you put something out about vaccinations and traveling?" Okay, what you want me to say? I said, just say that, it's not saying, okay. And what did he do? What did he do?
Fine job, bro. Fine job. Fine job. Awesome. Hey, it was a cool article though. Thank you for doing that, Charlie. Thank you, because I sent an email. See, I don't know his phone number like you, but I sent him an email, and all I got back was the autoresponder telling me I'm busy.
No, I'll give you the number.
Okay,
And I checked the number. It goes
got it.
to the New England care home, something care home. That's where I get them.
You sure you had called Fauci, not Fucci? You probably had called Fucci.
I think I'll call Fuji.
Yeah, Fucci,
Yeah,
Fucci from
yeah,
yeah. No, that guy, and his number is only one off from Fauci.
yeah.
But it worked because Fucci must have called Fauci to put that press release out. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Well, I heard the thing. It first routed to because I had a call, but I heard it routed to the Dillingham Monopole factory first. So I knew I was on the right path at that point. Once the thing went to the
Yeah.
Dillingham Monopole factory, I said, okay, got it. Then 4.
Hey, speaking of Manapua,
Yeah.
Patsy had ordered some Super Bowl snacks for us for Sunday. If no can go out, right?
Was it from
From
Wong's?
Wong's, the miniature
Yeah.
Manapua.
Yeah.
Barada. I try to get them to come on, but they shy. But that miniature Manapua, that little round, is delicious.
They make some good, I think the ones they had before, I really didn't care for, but I think the chef, I mean, at first, because the one they had before I thought was from Gold Coin, Gold Coin, the frozen ones you find at Costco. But this last time I've been buying, even they didn't do it, I asked them, I said, hey, where you guys buy this one? He goes, oh no, the chef make them. Because the bao is super soft now.
Oh yeah.
And even the meat, there's not too much, the red, like char siu food coloring.
Yeah.
It's on the brown side. So, and that's how I like my kauyuk, yeah. I like them a little bit on the brown side, especially when they put taro inside. Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was delicious. It was delicious. Yeah, we're gonna get Jackie. I tried, Rhonda, if you can get Jackie on or Kaulana or anybody, yeah, we'd appreciate it. This Friday we have Daddy O's.
Mm-hmm.
We have Taco
Libre.
Libre. He corrected me today. He said it's Taco Libre.
Yeah, it's like the
And
restaurant.
Pono Market will be here on Friday as well. So it's all food. It's gonna be Foodie Friday. Feel
And
good
brother,
Foodie Friday.
if you see anyone of their descent and they spell the name Jorge, it is not George. It's Jorge.
Jorge.
Yeah, so don't call him George, because you will get one Georgia bat over your head. You call him George. Don't call him George, as in Georgia the jungle. Don't do that.
Saturday we may have to go out to Taco Libre, Charles. May have to. That's on your neck of the woods, right?
Yeah, it's right at the tri section, right in front of Suyoka store.
It's in Koloa. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right off to the side. You remember where what's her name? Phyllis Kunimura. They got memorial or something around there. Kunimura, right there, right at that corner, across the
Believe
street.
it or not, that was a Portuguese. There's a Portuguese statue over there. It's pretty cool.
Well, right there. So the taco trucks line up in there.
Oh, right on.
Right,
yeah. So he invited us. So
yeah.
we might just go down there and have a little. We'll see how the weekend goes.
What's so unique is they have 5 different trucks, all selling tacos. Nah.
How many portable toilets you get over there?
None. No, the Suyokas they get the one in the back. The one they no more door, they get curtain. So you just knock on the curtain and you like go inside.
No, this is not Feel Good Friday, guys. We're waiting for Angela Keene to pop on. She's a busy woman. She's going to be on our guest tonight. She's going to give us some updates of what's going on at the legislature, what's going on with the quarantine breakers. So hang out. We're just talking story right now. I never talked to Charlie all day today,
Yeah.
all day. So we just talking story and how's
Yeah.
my garden? I gotta tell you, every day I go there, I harvest. I planted too much eggplant. I didn't realize those things they
It's
drop a
probably.
lot of eggplant. So Patsy actually made homemade pizza. I gotta tell you, our tomatoes, our eggplant. I mean, it's still going. Believe it or not, still going. I just waiting for this eggplant to pow. Then I went back. I really enjoyed lettuce. I really like the garden lettuce. So and of course tomatoes. Tomatoes. These tomatoes we got from the kind, Charlie. Bunga.
Oh,
Actually, the
Freddie.
tomatoes and the eggplant was the ones from Bunga that we got from you, Charlie.
All
Uh,
right. On.
and I tell you, bro, those and it's the purple. It's the long
Long one.
purple. My God. And you know I'm blessed over here because we no more bugs. So no, it's look as beautiful as our bell peppers did. So
You know what I really love, but I gotta go find me one spiral cutter. You know, that's the one you put them. You know, people that make zucchini noodles, they
yeah,
spiral cut the zucchini and make them into like noodles. Oh man, I just love when you saute that with a little butter, lots of garlic, little white wine, shot of lemon juice, just like on scampi. But I put there's a couple of dabs of oyster sauce in the butter, and I emulsify that and just eat them. Oh my God. Woo.
I Marlies just asked. I want to know what you two think about them trying to ban 12 gauge shotguns. I did not know they were trying to ban 12 gauge shotguns. You know, I don't support that. Let me just say it that way. Let me just put it that way. You know, we live in a hunting and a fishing culture. Um, Sometimes I think the legislatures throughout the country go a little bit overboard. I don't. I gotta go read up. I apologize. I haven't really
You
looked
know what
up.
hurts? You know what hurts the people, you know, the law abiding people that have own
Yeah,
guns.
exactly.
You know, I understand it's for self-defense too. Okay. But you defend your property. You don't go out walking around in the public with a gun because you ain't defending nothing. You asking for trouble. Those are the kind of people that ruin it for everybody. So, you know, instead of doing one generic ban everything, the ones who would screw up the rules, you go after them and you penalize them hard.
That's that's
That's
the
what they,
thing.
yeah.
We in Hawaii we have the strictest gun laws in the country. And you know what? I'm okay with that. I
Mm.
I when I buy a gun, I am treated no differently. Even though I am in law enforcement, I still got to go get a permit to acquire. I still got to wait the mandatory 10 days. I still got to get the psych. I'm okay with that. And that's not a big issue. I know a lot of people think, oh, it's too deep, too. No, you know what? I'm okay with that. But when you start penalizing the law abiding citizens, like you just said, Charlie,
Mhm.
you know, the scrubs in the street are not going to legitimate gun stores to buy guns. So it's the bottom line is this. You exactly what you said, Charlie. Stiffen the penalties on firearms charges. If you want to take care of the problem, go after the guys that are making the trouble. I tell you, a 12 gauge shotgun. I have numerous friends that hunt with 12 gauge. They hunt bird with 12 gauge shotgun. They provide for their families with the 12 gauge shotgun. Uh, anyway,
You know
man,
what?
that
You know what I
obviously a
think?
very touchy subject, but you know, let's focus on the people that are creating the problems and
You know, sometimes
not the
I
law
wonder
abiding ones.
when they get this open carry law, like some states have it, right? They have the open carry.
Mhm.
I mean, are you carrying it because you like show everybody how big your gun is, or how fast you can quick draw McGraw, or are you carrying a gun because you want panting? I think you're on panting. I'm sorry. If I'm gonna carry one gun, it's to protect my family and my home. My home is not down on Ala Moana Boulevard.
Yes, right.
My home is not in the middle of downtown Honolulu. If it's on Kauai, my home is not on Kaumuali'i Highway. My home is my home. That's what I can defend.
Yeah.
And you know, the funny thing about it, when I was a police officer and we were off duty, we were required to carry firearms. I just didn't. I didn't carry firearms off duty.
Yeah. Me neither, man.
But because you got a big bullseye right on you, they got a big bullseye because I tell you this, just imagine for you to draw and for you to fire, if one guy hiding behind a tree with already the bead on you, guess what? You're already gone. You're already gone. So best, you just leave it at home. You be nice to everybody. No pee anybody off. Because I tell you, the worst kind of guy carrying a gun is those short guys that carry a Pan Am bag. They carry the biggest Uzis in there. That's the ones you got to worry about the most. Because they'll do the most damage.
Wow, my Auntie Grace, my dad's sister, is on tonight. Hi, Auntie Grace. How are you? Wow. I know she's real active on Facebook. I don't think I ever remember her coming on the show, but then again, I miss a lot of the comments while we're live. Hi, Auntie. Love you. I don't know where. I'm going to go text Angela right now because I'm a little concerned. Oh. Okay. She said, I cannot repeat what the first word is. I have a quarantine breaker somewhere between Honolulu and Kona. I'm chasing right now virtually, and I'll be there for the show, but a few minutes late.
It's okay.
Okay, well.
She can fill us in, give us some.
Oh, that was a while ago, too. That was 6:45.
Yeah, well, I think it's. But
yeah, you know, her group is so active.
Yes.
You know, a lot of the violations that were caught on Oahu, and in fact all the islands. Their group extends to each island, and if you go to the quarantine breaker email, if you go to the website and you click on the Kauai link, the email comes to me, and I route it through the people that are in charge of the enforcement. We do as much as we can to do some research. Oh, she just texted me less than 5. That's good. So,
well, I do want to say, just so I'm going to change the subject, because when you got on this case about the, banning certain weapons, like I said, I believe everyone's right to own a gun. I don't believe you have the right for self-protection, because if somebody is threatening you, you walk out in the public with a gun, basically, you're telling me you're hunting that person down. That's what you're doing. Because I know you go to gun classes, but I know they don't teach you how to draw guns real fast, like on OK Corral type action. I know they don't teach you that stuff. So I just wanted to put it out there. I support your right to own a gun. I don't support the idea of flaunting it around and asking for trouble. And if somebody screws up the rules, I think what the legislature should do is pass a law that puts the penalties really harsh on those who screw the rules up.
Yep.
And they should make it where it's not a defense, because these guys, they're going to claim that, oh, I was self-defense. Self-defense of what? If you're in the middle of a crowd and nobody came up to threaten you, and yet you wanted to brandish a weapon, what are you to defend? Basically, you're scaring everybody. So I say, if you got to serve a life sentence for carrying it illegally in the public and not at your place of residence, so be it. I'm sorry.
But if you want to stop the behavior, that's the problem, though, Charlie. I mean, a lot of these guys, they come out, they get charged with firearm, they get caught, or they get shot by the cops or whatever. And I'm not here to defend bad cops. I'm just saying, our whole judicial system You know, the revolving door. You know, these guys get, you know, you see it on the news all the time. Or a suspect was arrested. He had 47 convictions, or he had 22 convictions. He had 38 convictions. Look at what happened with COVID, right? We let them all out of jail because of COVID. What, 60 something percent of them reoffended? I'm not, listen, I'm not here to bash. What I'm saying is if you want to stop the behavior, then you gotta enforce and you gotta go through with it. But right now, and it
You
doesn't
know,
work that way. It doesn't work that way. These guys go in, they come out. They go in, they come out. And and the
if
ones
you
that serve a time in sentence in jail, there's no rehabilitation, no strategy to help them so when they come out they can function. And that's the problem. You know, that's a big problem. We put them in jail, we leave them there, and they learn how to become better criminals in jail rather than rehabilitate them so they can come out and be productive. That's the problem.
you know, if they want to, if they don't want to incarcerate people, you know, don't spend taxpayers' dollars and going through all this legislation on and all that gobbledygook. It's waste of time. All you do, you build one 2-bedroom prison. You get overcrowding after two, so you don't have to worry if if that's what you like to.
Yeah. You know, the people they talk the talk, blah blah
Yeah,
blah. Yeah, we're gonna build more prisons for what? I mean,
yeah.
uh, it's anyway. This is a whole different show, just a whole different show. But my point is that there are many programs out there that the state should invest in to get these people. And a lot of people disagree. They said, no way, why should those guys get college degrees when they're in prison? Or why should those guys get any? Because they're humans that made mistakes, and they need to serve their time and they need to pay their debt to society. But what good is it if you letting them out untrained, unimproved, and just roaring to get back to the crime? I mean, that's why we get the revolving door. So, I guess it's a double-edged sword. But rehab to me is the solution. But you don't. They gotta learn and they gotta pay their debt. I cannot handle when you get guys sentenced to 10 years and they're out in 18 months. That bothers me because there's a victim. There's a victim, and a lot of these victims are not even alive, or they're uh, traumatized for the rest of their lives. And but we got
You
to
know,
rehab these guys, and we got to get
why
them in a
why
position.
why is Hawaii?
Huh?
See, this is like the Perry and Price show tonight for some reason. But why
Well,
is Hawaii, especially our legislators, why are they allergic to the 3-strike rule? I mean, you can
they
always
took the
repeal the darn
vaccine.
thing.
They took the
Yeah.
vaccine.
I mean, gee whiz, you commit 3 strikes, right? Serious offenses, you commit, then you wouldn't worry about this okay, 48 convictions, you know what I mean? Of felonies or whatever.
No act. You late.
I know. Oh my God.
Don't come up there and all make nice. You're late.
I'm running by the seat of my pants. Oh my gosh, what a day.
What's up,
That's
Angela Keene?
Chasing a quarantine breaker. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I read your text. I read your text live.
Oh,
Not all of it. Not all of it.
not the expletive.
Not the expletives. No.
We have a flight attendant who tipped us. No, we have an. How do I say this? Somebody from the airport tipped us off, and I have some insight from the inside after all these months. And so
Mhm.
we have the person's name. We know that they came in from the East Coast. We know that they were on the plane talking about how stupid quarantine was, how the coronavirus is fake, and just basically talked to everybody on the plane and gave himself away. thought that quarantine was BS, that the testing was BS. He didn't have his wristband on. And they came into Honolulu, were supposed to go on to a neighbor island, and didn't end up on the other side. So I suspect that he is in Honolulu right now. Yeah. Escaping everybody. Yep.
Well,
So I was just making my calls and trying to get everything together and make sure that everybody knows who needs to know. But the problem is there's no hotel listed for him. So I don't know how the heck we're going to find him. But we will. Yeah.
sorry, hold on.
Crazy.
I'm
No
having
worries.
a hard time hearing you. I'm sure it's
you?
just me.
Oh, wait.
but-
No, it might be me. Here, let me
Oh,
try this. Let's try
there
that.
you
Does that
go.
work? Does that work?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No.
People are
Thank
like,
you.
what happened?
I was thinking, oh no, I gotta go get my AirPods. Anyway,
Yeah.
welcome
So
back, Angela. Welcome
thank
back.
you.
We've had in the last few nights, we've had so many real celebrities. So we just want to say thank you for taking the time to join us tonight. A lot of things going on, a lot of stuff going on at the legislature. Uh, Maybe you want to bring us up to speed. First of all, for those of you that don't know, this is Angela Kane. Everybody knows you. Hit the share button, hit the share button, hit the share button. uh, what's it like on Oahu? Where are we at? I understand that numbers are going down. Your Mayor Blangiardi's and the Lieutenant Governor is looking at opening up the county, relaxing the tiers. But what's it like on the ground there in Oahu?
It's first I'll tell you it's not going to happen. I know that from just knowing the governor's pattern after the last couple of weeks, and within 10 days we're going to see a spike. You had Dr. Miskovich on, and he thought that things were going fairly well over Super Bowl weekend. No. So he was being optimistic, but we received dozens upon dozens of reports. And for those who read the Star Advertiser, we were in, I think, yesterday talking just a little bit about it. There were 185 complaints that turned, well, there were more than 185, but of the complaints, 185 were taken upon by Honolulu Police Department. Of those 185 complaints of parties, and we're talking big, we're talking like Waimanalo, over 100 people. Like, it looked like pre-COVID time. No mask. There's a sign on the gate that says masks required. Not a person inside had a mask on. And we're talking tons of people. We had a party at Sherwood's with DJs, and HPD came 4 hours late. We had a party on the North Shore. I mean, they were all over. But guess what, guys? All warnings, not one ticket, not one ticket, not one. 4 hours late. There needs to be a COVID team. It's just, it doesn't work any other way. It doesn't work.
Somebody called you a snitch.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people call me that.
Wow.
In the comments or before? Oh, you mean in the
not
group?
here, not here. No,
Oh,
not
oh.
here. Hell no.
Yeah.
You are a rock star on our show. No. They're
Yeah.
they're kind of right now. They're commenting about Miskovich, not you.
Oh, yeah.
No, we watched it last night, and Miskovich is my friend. Josh Green.
Yeah.
I had a whole dialogue last night about nothing is personal with this thing. It's not personal.
No, it's not.
Charlie
No.
and I share our observations and our opinions, but it's never personal. So whether
No.
or not Josh Green wants to be my friend anymore, that's his problem. I'm still his friend. Miskovich is still my friend. But listening to Miskovich last night, it was very clear. And I don't mean this as any disrespect for anybody. It's just he and the lieutenant governor are on the same page.
Okay.
And whether you agree or disagree, that was my observation.
Okay.
And it's not negative. That's my observation.
Okay. Yeah, well, and it's not personal for me either. I am in contact with Josh whenever I need to be. And he's very good about it. And he's very good about listening and confirming that he got my message and often responding positively or, giving me some assistance. That I have to say, it's never personal. Um, there is a lot going on. This morning there's a half a dozen bills in the legislature dealing with quarantine and enforcement and the whole misdemeanor, for the ticket. We want to make it easier for the officers to be able to ticket them first of all, if they can. And then so yesterday we had a bill that one got put on hold because the one today in the Judiciary Committee, Bill 540 SD1, which is a combination of some things, would allow for lowering the misdemeanor to a citation. So just like a parking ticket, just like a speeding ticket, the officers can just write a ticket. And there is a provision in there for email and digital communications, which would allow the person to possibly pay online or immediately. I would like to see immediately because in some cities they have those little devices where they can just type their name in and the guy can pay, the person can pay, and then they go from there, and it's paid on the spot, right? So that was the bill that passed this morning, and it was unanimous. And we had 40 Kapu Breaker group members. And I'm going to get emotional because at the last minute I found out about this, and they just all rallied. The day before we had 3 giving testimony, including myself. And then the next time we've got 40. And that was a last ditch effort last night for people rallying and people helping each other, trying to figure out how to sign on, trying to figure out how to sign up, figuring out how to get in. They were all helping each other in the group last night because I was just so slammed. I just couldn't be the person doing it all last night. So the kokua that happened last night with everybody was just so amazing. And I remain hopeful because of that unanimous decision this morning. And there are other bills that's in the Senate Judiciary Committee, and there are other bills on the House side. And I'm hoping that they can just come together and meld them together and get it done quickly. That's what we need right now, especially with the guy that I just had that is currently breaking quarantine and thinks this whole thing is BS and didn't even pre-test. So we don't know if he's positive or not.
You gotta assume that he is. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
To me, travelers. Yep. Travelers are travelers.
More than likely came from the West Coast. More than likely
East
came from
Coast.
LA or San Francisco. Where?
A hot spot on the East Coast.
Oh, East Coast. So you just gotta assume that they're positive.
Yeah.
So the bill that passed today was just for masks, though, not quarantine, right?
Right. Yesterday, though, there was something to do with quarantine, and that would have made the quarantine infraction less than a misdemeanor and less than $500. I didn't like that because that's too easy of a getaway. It's got to be $2,000 or more.
No,
So
I told the lieutenant governor when he was on our show once, as well as the Senate committee, if they were serious about, of course, they cannot do anything that's going to injure tourism, but if they want to be serious about quarantine violations, and I'm talking for visitors as well as local residents returning from the mainland, if they want to be real, they want to stop the problem, you put a $10,000 cash bail on the charge. In other words, they go to jail.
Mhm.
And they don't come out until they post $10,000 in cash, not a bond, cash.
So right now it's 2,000 cash in Honolulu, but it's different from for the neighbor islands, I think.
It's 2,000, but you can get a bail bondsman to come and you pay $200 and you get the bond. It has to be cash bail.
Right. It is cash now. It is cash now. So but that's
they can't get a bond
for Honolulu. It's cash. It's cash. So everyone that I know that has had to pay the cash fine to get out has called their family members, or they've plea bargained and got themselves said, I plead guilty, I'll go back home, and they get on a plane and they go back. And sometimes that is a ticket from Visitor Aloha Society that comes from the hotel room tax. So the tourists essentially pay for themselves going back. But a lot of times, what the airline will do is just bump their flight up and just send them right back with their return ticket bumped up. So, no, it it kind of works, but right now we just have no enforcement. And HPD and AG's office just can't work together. It's too bad. For Oahu, for the neighbor islands, it's hard. I don't know. I know things go well on Kauai, but for the Big Island and Maui, it's an issue. It's definitely an issue.
So my question is, this person that didn't take a test, how did they, we have redundancy in security protocols, right? At each
Right.
stop of the way.
Right.
How did he make it past the first gate
Well, that's what we
without
all, yeah, that's what we all want to know. So when I looked at the paperwork, it said that he came from the East Coast. The airline participating has they are now being proactive because they want to make sure that these people have tested. And if they don't, then they know because they don't have the band on their wrist. So good for the airlines for doing that. So he came into Honolulu, and the folks at the airport at Honolulu assumed that he was only coming in to Honolulu. But when I checked with other sources who are connected internally, they said that it looked like he was coming to Kona and that he had already called last week complaining about the whole thing. And what I was told is this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. And the person at the airport said, I saw it with my two own eyes. This person walked through the gate. How did they get through the gate? How did they get past the screener? I have no clue because it said he is in transit. So he is in transit in Honolulu walking around somewhere.
So he gets to Honolulu, he gets off the plane on Oahu, and they think he has a connecting flight.
To Kona.
But he just walks out of the airport.
Yeah.
They just, because he has a connecting flight, they're going to allow him to get to the next gate.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's an amazing strategy. I guess it works. I mean, that's one of the problems where
it's just like when you go and you pick up your bags on the carousel. They don't just let you grab the bag and walk out. You're gonna get somebody at each station that's gonna be checking for the tag. I know at Honolulu Airport they do that. I know a couple of times we flew in there. Inter-island, of course, does it. But if you stay in the main concourse and you try to come out from the bottom, you got to go past somebody. They says, "Oh, can I see your tag?" Now, this is what I wanted to ask you, Angela. Years ago, they had that problem with people, the trails that had the kapu do not enter, right?
Yeah.
They go hike, they get stuck, so they got to call fire department, do a rescue mission.
Yeah.
And what HFD was doing, it was getting mad. So finally, they said, fine. If we get called after you went past a gate that's had no trespassing and you passed it, they fine you heavily. You pay for the helicopter service that went up there.
Right.
Why can't they do that? Because they do it now. They do it now, especially on the North Shore when those guys go hiking in areas when they're not supposed to go.
It blows me away. It does. It just seems like it has to be impossible. I just don't get it. Really. I just don't get it.
I'm just confused how everyone that leaves the interior of Honolulu International Airport needs to be checked. I guess that's not happening. That to me,
I don't know.
Well, obviously it's not, right? Because he got through.
Yeah.
On Kauai, and there's no connecting flight on Kauai. I mean,
right.
You come in, you are coming out, but everybody gets checked coming out, and just to make sure.
Do you know if Ford runs a weekly meeting to go over any discrepancies over the past week to discuss these kind of things? Because if it doesn't get addressed now, we're in hot water. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
I
Again.
from what I've been told in the past, it's a mess. And when I worked extensively every day with the AG's office, of course, it's dropped off now because of the whole pre-testing. But I constantly got comments that he doesn't have things under control. He doesn't talk to his folks. They consistently have issues, and they're never addressed. That's feedback to me. Other than that, I do not know. I do not know. That's only feedback.
And I'll tell you the reason why I bring that up. If it's exposed that this is what happened, right? We, you can just only report as far as you can report.
Mm-hmm.
But like Mel said, it seems obvious that if they're in transit, there's got to be a holding area that does not allow them to leave the airport. So if we're going to be trapped with that situation, we're trying to prevent a now with the variants, we're trying to prevent a lot of things from happening. And basically what's happening now, and it sounds to me like, it's every person for themselves because
Yep.
it's just not working down there.
Right. Right. Right.
Mm.
The people who work in the industry at the airport, the screeners, the hotline, the hotel workers, the airline employees, the ramp workers, the Uber drivers, the taxi drivers, the hotel concierge, they are all in our group and they just unload sometimes. And I let them because they deserve to be able to tell somebody how kapakahi, how mixed up this whole thing is. And it's still after all these months that we battled. Yes, we've got some new rules. Yes, we've come a long way because of you guys and because of Kapu Breakers group. But there's still so much that's so, as we say, gamished or kapakahi or all mixed up, right?
Mhm.
Makes no sense. And the one thing that I told one of the newspaper reporters the other day is, after all those calls that came in, after all those calls that went to the hotline with the, with the tourists and with locals both, the tourists, the one thing that the tourists don't get is they don't get the message about the mask mandate. And the mask is really the reason why we went after that is because if we couldn't control people breaking quarantine, at least we'll get them to wear a damn mask so that they're not spreading their COVID all over the place. They come into contact with workers at the hotel and the airport and the airlines. They need to have that mask on. Yet there's still no advertising or education of any kind unless you've got an Akamai team on an airline like Hawaiian or somewhere else that they are making the announcement online saying you must wear your mask. You must wear your mask whenever you leave your hotel. Anywhere else, they don't hear a word about it. They get into the international marketplace or they go down Lahaina town and they're without their mask because I tested negative or I had my vaccine. No, you still got to wear your mask because these workers are in contact with these people every day and their lives are at risk. And when they go home, they have multi generational families. Sorry if I'm coming off as being really hot about this, but I'm very passionate about it. They're coming home to their kupuna and their kupuna are going to get sick.
Yep.
That's how community spread happens because that seed is planted. Don't tell me it's not. COVID got here on an airplane and no other way.
Yep.
I lost a friend here on Kauai who drove, his job was to drive airline crews to the hotel. He didn't drive passengers, he didn't drive tourists, he drove airline crews, who, by the way, are exempt from all the goddamn, the restrictions or requirements. He died. And, but that's not enough, you see. That's not enough when somebody dies.
No.
It does nothing else but go to work and go home. Elderly gentleman. Definitely got him from one of those crew members. There's no doubt in my mind.
So
But
I'm just going to interrupt really quick. One of our members had just asked. Laurel Kenny said, everyone should be given a flyer when they depart the flight for details. Okay, so I actually gave a proposal to John DeFries. Bless his heart, he's been really receptive. He's listened to us. He's tried to act on some things. But I said to him, you got to have end-to-end educational marketing on the mask mandate. When they book the flight, it needs to be on the webpage. When they get it to the airport on the mainland, it needs to be at the counter. When they get on the plane, it needs to be on the plane. That's hit or miss depending upon the crew. When they get in the taxi, when they get to the hotel room, there should be a hang tag instead of, oh, save the energy, don't wash a towel. No, put a mask on when you leave the room. Just that simple stuff. It takes minor amount of money to have a few thousand of these printed or have it as a digital pop-up on their web platform, you know, something.
Well, just years ago, you remember they had that volunteer program where people were washing their chemicals down the drain. So they would take a stencil by each drain. They would like save the
Yep.
whale, or they'll do something. Why can't we just ask the county, hey, let's get a community group out there and let's stencil on mask wearing, put it on the walkway, because most tourists that walk around, I'm sure they're like me. We look up maybe 40% of the time and we look down 60% of the time. And you're going to run across, guarantee you're going to step on something that says, wear your mask.
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
The problem is these people are coming here. They're coming here because Hawaii is somewhat safer than where they're coming from.
Absolutely.
I cannot believe that of all the people that I see not wearing a mask here on Kauai, drive through Kapa Town, you see them, they walk Kapa Town and they're not wearing a mask. And I don't mean to be the negative Nancy, but I don't think the flyer would change it. I mean, I don't think if they had a flyer coming off that plane, they was going to change the behavior, because that's just how they are. And maybe some might, but if it's the enforcement, it comes down to enforcement. That's, and I hate to sound
It's a joke. It's a joke. It's been a joke from the beginning.
I'm saying you could like in Korea, or where they just drop leaflets. In Vietnam, that's what they did. They dropped leaflets with propaganda. But you could give every single tourist coming off that plane, they already know. And if they're telling you they don't know you have to wear a mask, they're lying. And it's a choice that they're making. It's a choice that I'm coming to Hawaii. I'm spending $15,000. I ain't wearing a mask. I'm not, it's clean. Over here is safe. Look what they have, 30 cases in the whole state. Oh my God. And again, we talked about this last night. I told Miskovich, we have a lieutenant governor that constantly tells people that it's okay, and that we're going to be open. The messages are not consistent. And the visitors watch the news in the morning. I watch the news when I travel in the morning. And they listen to this and they think that, everything's all hunky-dory. We got the vaccines pouring in. And in reality, it's not. We got shortage.
No, there's a shortage. There's a national shortage.
That's the problem, right? So these people are coming here because their perception is that it's safe and that they can walk around without a mask. And if we don't have special enforcement or projects of officers or sworn people going out and enforcing that law, I really don't see it changing, and that's scary.
I did mention the airlines taking it on to make sure they had pre-testing and they give them a band. There've been a handful of times last 2 weeks that I've received information, and I saw one of the members, Marie mentioned it, that Alaska has done the pre-approval for their pre-test, and a handful of the people didn't have the participating testing company or testing, whatever. They didn't have the right test, but Alaska let them through anyway. Alaska Airlines.
Let me ask you a question. When you park your car, what's the first thing you do before you jump out?
Wear my mask. First thing I do when I leave my house, wear my mask.
When I jump out of my car?
Hasn't it become automatic? It's just automatic, right? So when these tourists show up at a store, and not all tourists, because some local residents do, but when they come to a store and they're warned, hey, you need a mask. Oh, I forgot it in the car. What does that tell you? That
They don't
tells you
care. They
that
don't care.
not that they don't care, they just don't do it. So it's not second nature for them. Wherever they came from, like Florida, my friend, the guy I work with, his parents live in Florida. He said no one wears a mask in Florida where they live. So from where they're coming from, mask use is not important. So it's obvious, right? Because I have extra masks now. I think most of us have extra masks in case you forget one in the house, but or one is dirty or whatever. But these people are so accustomed to not wearing a mask. It's not second nature to them like it is to us. And that's ridiculous.
Let's think outside of the box. Why don't we do this? And I don't know what businesses would, but you can just adjust the prices. If I had a restaurant, I'll give everybody a 10% discount if they came in with a mask on. That's what I would do.
Even if it's the law already.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's true. But you see, local people, they're gonna understand that. The traveler from not from Hawaii may not understand that. But if you give them an enticement to do it, because what are we, the ultimate goal is what are we trying to accomplish? We're trying to accomplish not spreading the virus if by any chance you had the virus. We can debate, like I tell myself at times, I sit down, I watch the national news and I say, man, I debating this thing and it's just like an uphill battle. It's like Mount Everest, just like the abominable snowman would just add 2 more miles of snow on the top of the Everest, and I got to climb up some more on this thing. And I'm just saying, gee whiz, what are we trying to accomplish? And everything is about life, whether we're going to outrun this thing or not. Looks like we are, but there's going to be a lot of carnage along the way. Because why? Because this variant came into play. It's funny, every year we take a flu shot, every year like clockwork. And because everybody is so complacent, they don't care because they say, hey, I get a little sniffle. Yeah, I got to take, albuterol or whatever. But they don't care because they haven't been affected by this particular virus
No.
that actually says, I'm going to tag you. Now it's a race against time. Can you outrun me or will I kill you before this thing is over? And
That
they
was
haven't.
That's
Yeah.
one of the best statements I've ever heard, Charlie. It's like tag you're it, right? But you
Yeah.
don't know it. You don't know it.
Mhm.
So yeah, go back March 6th, the day that I came home from work
Yeah.
early because I didn't feel good. I mean, that's just I go back to thinking about it, and somebody asked me, "Oh, that's why you're so passionate." Yeah, I was kind of in denial the first
Do
couple
you
of
still
months.
feel you have residuals from it?
Oh,
Like every
definitely. I definitely do. I'm seeing specialists because of it. I have ringing in my ears. I have TMJ. I have problems with insomnia. I have problems with hypersomnia, and I belong to a support group, and all the people who got it back when I got it all have the same symptoms. It's very interesting. It's a vascular disease. It messes with your brain. It messes with your hormones. All kinds of things. Yeah. Some of my bad stuff has disappeared. I mean, I can function from day to day. I have to. I put on my smile and I put on my clothes and I get out there and I do what I got to do every day to make sure Kapu Breakers is running and that we've got stuff in the legislature and that I'm making contacts with certain people and touching base and staying in contact. But yeah, sometimes some days are a drag. But hopefully it'll go away at some point. I hope. Yeah.
Oh, my sister just posted her son lives moved to Iowa, and she said the Iowa governor just removed the mask
I know.
requirement.
I know. I know. I know. At
Now
a
you
time
gotta
when
be an idiot. You really gotta be an idiot.
the new president said the first 100 days wear a mask, right?
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
been no mention of that anywhere. And then you've got these governors in places where like Iowa and Nebraska and Florida where they won't wear a mask. Or Hawaii where they don't there's no enforcement. So there's more than just the travelers.
Oh yeah.
I'd like to share something that has happened recently that really burned me, that really made me very angry, and it has to do with young people in Hawaii, specifically on Oahu. And I have a young son who's 25 in that age group, but he's very maka'ala. He's very vigilant. He wears his mask. He lives in Michigan. You guys are the first to break this because no other media would share this story. And I have proof. too bad I don't have the video here because I would share it with you, and I can. The University of Hawaii basketball team had a big party the other night. It was on January 30th, and it happened after hours at Phuket Thai Express.
I got that video.
Oh, you got it. Good. Yeah.
I,
So
but,
that's real. That's there were
tell the
about
audience.
there
Yeah,
were about there were about 20 people at that party. And by the way, it's not too far from my condo here. I'm near University in Mo'iliili. A big fan of theirs, who happens to be a friend of mine and frequents the restaurant, was in there and took 3 or 4 videos. And it was like a giant house party in a restaurant. People dancing on tables, people singing karaoke on mics, all the basketball players that we know and love, the stars, right? Girls, cooks, a few cooks were in there from the restaurant. They were all partying it up, drinking it up. Not a mask in the room. I mean, just like it was pre-COVID time. Okay. So from there, I alerted the media, and many of them are my friends. Do you think one station picked it up? No. Because they cannot air the video unless they are given permission by the person who took it. Understandable. Okay. Then the questions went to UH, bless their heart, the marketing department there, the marketing communications department has been struggling with dealing with ongoing daily things, and then this whole COVID thing, and then they've got the basketball players doing this kind of shit. Sorry. I couldn't get anybody to assist. However, I have to commend Department of Health because the sanitation branch, Pete Shiro, his inspectors go out every darn day, every time we have a complaint, and they actually go out there and do something about it. So the inspector went out and she had the video and she showed it to the person in charge at Phuket Thai Express. And the person in charge was very upset and admitted that it happened. Yes, they were here. Yes, it was the UH football team. Yes, it was awful. Yes, my
basketball team.
I mean, sorry. Basketball, did I say? Sorry.
Yeah.
Basketball, wrong one. Oh, deep breath. The basketball team. Yes, it was the basketball team. Yes, they were here. Yes, they were partying. Nobody had masks, and I'm so sorry. And they started to cry. And so the inspector kind of read him the riot act and said, we were here last week and your cooks didn't have a mask on. Oh, I'm so sorry. Do you think that they got a red placard? No, because they cried and said that, they're going to go out of business and they're so embarrassed and they're so remorseful and they're going to make sure from now on that every employee wears a mask.
But what about the other restaurant, that was on the news where they got a red placard and he removed the placard and stayed open for business? What?
That was blatant. That was blatant. That was because he was after they told him to fix things, he wouldn't fix it. So Phuket Thai did fix it and say, I don't know, I haven't been there. I don't go to restaurants, so not now anyway. They were just very remorseful. So all that happened is they got a slap on the wrist. Nothing happened to the basketball players. When asked what happened, UH says, well, the athletic department's taking care of it. Did anybody get tested? Did anybody get benched? Come on. This is the kind of stuff that happens that gets you from the person that's had contact off the airplane to the darn basketball team all mingling and partying together like there's no COVID. This makes no damn sense. I promise you, in 2 weeks, the numbers will be up. They will.
Again, I'd be curious to see where the connection is. I don't know who owns that place. I'm not sure if that place has a lot of. I'm not familiar with the place. Is there a lot of politicians use that place for fundraisers or anything?
Not
like
that I know of. Not that I know of.
How in the hell doesn't HPD or I mean, they violated the law.
Right.
I mean, their
And
queue system is even stricter than ours on Kauai. And no, understand UA is going to take care of their athletes or not take care. I mean, but the establishment should have never opened that place for that party. I mean, I just should never have done that.
and the video went to HPD. Nothing done. Nothing done. And you've got an owner or someone in charge that admitted that it happened.
Well,
And we're right now we are getting so many complaints about restaurants. It's like the biggest complaint that I get, dozens every day. Dozens. And now listen to this. This is breaking on the news tonight, and I knew about it a little while ago. Not a little while ago, about a day or so ago. Poor Pete. He works so hard with his sanitation branch in his department, and his inspectors do not have vaccines right now. And so, as of today, the response from his inspectors were, we are no longer doing in-person visits or inspections because we need to be safe. Come on.
wow, incredible, incredible. And that's why we know that there's all these shenanigans that's going on. We know that. We know, and I what always stays in the back of my mind whenever I hear something like this about a basketball team or a restaurant, and people, look the other way and not enforcing the rules, and yet our kids cannot go to school. Our kids, cannot. It's so dangerous that we cannot let our kids go to school. And you have a situation like that where that is a petri dish at little restaurant with a bunch of drunken people,
Mm-hmm.
and it's okay, right? It's okay. I
And
mean, it's enough to not do anything. And
that's
that,
another issue. That the kids, okay? So this is another issue. I meet with Mayor Blangiardi on February 22nd. I got a meeting with him. I want the kids to go back to play. I want the kids to go to school. We all do. And you know what? I was on the phone with Dr. D the other night. We were talking at length, and I said, we started talking about the kids in sports, and I said, it's not the kids. The kids are wearing the mask. The kids are listening to coach. They are social distancing. They are playing in pods, this and that. It's the parents that show up and mingle and have their tailgate parties and don't wear a mask. Mahiko Park is a bleeping disaster. That's on Oahu and Ewa. So, you know what Dr. D said, and I agree with him. He said, Angela, these parents are so reckless, these young parents, they're in their late 20s or late 30s. They're so reckless and so carefree. The kids are actually in danger being at home. They need to be in school, because if the school is a good DOE school and they have a good teacher and a good principal, they have the social distancing and the masking down. And the kids are actually safer at school than they are at home. That's what he said. And I believe that 110%. I believe it. So, it's why do these parents have to gather? Drop your kids off, stay in the car, listen to the music, listen to whatever. Watch with your binoculars, stay in the car, wear your mask. Don't get into 6 feet, close to other people. No partying. Just let your kids play. No, they cannot. What the heck?
yeah, it's so frustrating. I feel for the parents of children. I feel for single moms, single dads that have to deal with that and cannot go to work. And I mean, but there's no real emphasis. There's no real priority on that. I mean, everything is about opening tourism. We got to do whatever we can to open tourism.
Screw our local residents.
Absolutely, that's exactly the way I see it. And there's no, how hard could it be for a dozen leaders, educational leaders, health leaders, real health leaders, the ones that follow science, and get them around a big quad table at the square building and come up with a plan to allow students to go back to school with proper safety protocols in place. It's being done in the private schools.
Yep.
It's very successful in the. What the hell is the difference?
Let me tell you, I before I was laid off, I worked at Asset School, and these kids are kids that have learning challenges, and some of them are gifted, and so they're a little, loosey goosey and difficult to control sometimes in the classroom. And do you know that already back in June, they were talking about school starting up in August. They didn't have summer school, but they started when school started. They've gone this whole year, not one case, because they're careful. They do social distancing. They mask. They have classes outside. Their lunch, their cafeteria is outside under a awning. They did it perfectly. They even have misters, so the kids stay cool outside. We live in Hawaii. Why can we not have kids outside?
It's we talk about all the time. We get the perfect weather for outdoor classrooms. There's a lot again. If there's a will, there's a way. There just is no will right now, but from our leadership at the state level. And I understand the unions have a big part of that. The unions really are concerned. And listen, I'm not saying send them back to school in unsafe conditions. No, we got to make sure that they're safe. But there's a lot of kids that want to be back in school. There's a lot of kids that are suffering because they cannot get the level of education from a
Yep.
computer, the social disconnect. I mean, there's so many reasons why our kids need to be back in school. So focus on making it safe for them to go back to school. And the ones that, if kids cannot follow rules, then they go home.
Yeah,
And
right.
for those that want to, that are concerned about their future, about their college and everything else, and they need to get back in the class, that option should be available. And I don't see why we cannot do that.
For the teachers who want to get vaccinated, why not have them as they're frontliners. They're frontliners. They should have been vaccinated.
Absolutely.
All in all, I think the whole process is the seriousness of what we have right in front of us. That's what it's all about.
Oh,
It, it's
people don't take it seriously anymore.
But
No.
the funny thing about it is when they made a boo-boo with the missile alert, oh, plenty of people took it seriously. You didn't have to see the missile in the sky. You just had to listen to the sirens. Was good enough. But you see, that's through a process of conditioning. We condition to know that when we hear, because first of the month, what happens the first of the month? You
Yeah.
get one of those, right? So everybody get conditioned. We're living at an age that unless this thing goes away, which it probably, all
It
the experts
won't.
say it won't go away,
No.
then we need to adapt to put ourselves in a position that we have that buffer in front of us. Now, some people just cannot handle having a buffer in front. So they need to go right up face to face. That's how we talk about the danger, because I look at this whole thing that we've talked about and I get it. I get it. But it's just that, when people watch this show, when they read the reports from the Kapu Breakers, what are they looking at? The people that understand it, they're following, they're tracking what's happening.
Yep.
People that don't understand it and it's a first time, they're going like, oh wow, I didn't know that. Maybe they start to adjust a little. Then there's some that just totally defiant, and that's why, on average, they just get in trouble with the law a lot. You ask anybody who's been, we were just talking about convictions, how many times, you already been convicted 38 times. What is it? Are you trying to go for the record?
Right.
It's continually happening over and over again. So I really believe, with this whole, and getting back even to the airport situation, I think it's incumbent upon the state. We have a problem. They need to do a review. Because if you had an escape from OCCC, tell me they're not going to have a review within the next week to find out where was the breakdown, what had happened,
Yep.
who was responsible for escorting the prisoner, who took their eyes off the prisoner. They would go through the whole gamut.
But
What makes the airport so different? That's what I want to know.
but you know what?
Yeah.
There was an after review. There was. It was with Les Condo and me. So I worked with Les Condo, the state auditor. I spoke to him about all the challenges that we had. He made a nice thick report on what all was wrong, I don't think anybody looked at that thing except for a few of us.
No, but what I'm saying is that
You know?
where it has to come from is somebody at the top in it. Like, for example, if he pulls his department heads in, he sits everybody down and just tell everybody, shut up. We're gonna talk about this because it's already hitting the media, the mainstream. We gotta we gotta nip it in the bud and don't let it happen again. Because that's the same thing they did with Dr. Pang on Maui when he had all that pilikia down at Maui airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
just said, enough is enough. How did we know? All the Roberts, the contract workers that did the screening at they walked off the job because they just had enough already. I don't want to see that happen here on Oahu because as a main airport, we can't afford a major breakdown if people start walking off the job. And that's what I'm afraid of. Because we got vaccines going, but not everybody is vaccinated.
Right.
And then when you get the LG talk, you know, he's being optimistic, but when he's talking about, hey, after you get your second dose after 2 weeks, hey, open it up. And we keep on commenting that we haven't had an expert that says, yes, that's what you do. They're all erring on the side of caution. Even his best buddy Fauci said the same thing. Until the data is in, he's afraid everybody is loosening by loosening the restrictions is not what you want to do at this time. And
There's a difference.
it just came.
There's a difference between being optimistic and being careless and irresponsible. And I think the governor said it best yesterday when the reporter asked him straight up what he thought about the lieutenant governor's statement that after the second shot plus 14 days, you basically can travel the world with no problem. And the governor said that's an irresponsible statement to make, and that's exactly what it is. And I think that's where this whole problem lies, is the whole concern and the priority that has been from day one has been the visitor industry, the tourism industry, and everything else can wait. Everything else can be put on a back burner, whether it's schools or people, people's jobs. We got to focus on tourism.
That's because none of those people are in the trenches like we are. None of them. They have rose-colored glasses on. They have no clue.
Yeah. No, you're right, Angela, and it's becoming so evident when it's frustrating for many of us that's been following this every day, because you've seen the drastic turns in the path that these guys take. And rather than focus on what we need to do, and I know there's people on this call that feels we're not ready to go back to school. But listen, you sit there as a governor or the lieutenant governor and you allow to cram 200 to 300 people in an airplane and just assume that it's going to be okay. They'll take a test and, we're going to, it's crap. But we cannot put 15 or 18 kids in a classroom, properly distanced and again, teachers got to be vaccinated. That's no doubt about it. But the whole priority hasn't been, they have not touched the school issue.
No.
And their easy justification or their excuse is we'll leave it up to each individual complex and principal, versus having a statewide policy and protocol. Not every school is the same, but absolutely nothing except you'll get your second shot, 14 days, and you can travel wherever you want to without a test or without quarantine.
You still got to wear a mask. There's still issues because look now, I had COVID back in March. I found out recently that with this new UK variant or the African variant, whatever, I'm not protected.
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore. Nope. And we don't know how long that protection lasts. And it's likely, from what I'm seeing in my group, support group with those who've had COVID, it's depending upon the viral load that you have, it's anywhere from 6 months to a year. And that's it. And we've got to have boosters every year. That's what's going to happen. And it's a shapeshifter. It's constantly changing. And right now, it's easier to catch. That's why the mask is so important. Listen, let me say this. I started saying this a couple weeks ago. You ask any no masker if they are pro-life. Absolutely. I'm for civil rights. I'm pro-life. Yeah, I'm pro-life too. That's why I wear my mask. Because if I don't wear my mask and I'm sick, then I might kill somebody with my infection. If you're pro-life, you're pro-mask. You better be.
Yeah. Just reading some of the comments. I think a vast majority. John says fear is our worst enemy, period. Go live, be safe. Exactly. Be safe. That's the key. The key is to be safe. Not wearing a mask is not being safe.
So
Social distancing is not being safe. And we go back to what we talked about months ago, Charlie, where we started. A lot of people were talking about wearing the mask, being safe, washing your hands. Is it's just an aloha spirit. That's to protect others.
yes,
That's
that's
just
what we do.
that's the Hawaii way.
Yes,
You don't be
yes.
afraid. You don't go out and purposely go out and try to contaminate people. When you do that, you have no aloha spirit,
No.
and you just that's the easiest way I can put it is you don't do it for yourself, you do it for others. And if you cannot do it for yourself, do it for others. If not, tally ho.
There's this group of 20 to 30 somethings that I mentioned earlier. But it's everywhere I look, every complaint I get, every party, China Walls, North Shore, Waimanalo. I get these pictures. This poor local woman, she's masked up. She's got her kiki with her. They're all masked up. Let's go see China Walls. Let's go see. They all go out there. There's 100 people out there, not one mask in sight, and they start the young people start screaming at the mom and her kids. Why do you wear one mask? What? You believe all that crap? Da 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 da. They were bullying them to the point where she said, "Come on, let's go." Because they wore a mask? Huh?
Yep. No, no. You know, you're not going to change that. Those people are going to be, they're just going to always be here. They're always going to be here. No different than no different than drunk drivers, Angela. You were in the news. I mean, we all know.
The crazy thing.
There's until it happens to someone you love or care about, then all of a sudden the rose glasses change color.
Yeah.
Until then,
The highest rate of COVID right now in Hawaii and across the country is the 20 to 30 somethings. They're the ones that are partying because they don't care. They don't feel that attachment or that connection that when they come home and they've been out all night scooting it up with the UH basketball team or hanging out at China Walls without a mask or out on the west side, Makaha side, in a tent at a bonfire, drinking it up without a mask, that when they come home, their kupuna can be the victim of their fun. They don't get it. They don't get it.
yeah, and I don't know what it's going to take. I don't know what it's going to take for some people to get it. The conspiracy theorists, they some people enjoy that. They enjoy being on the outside and just going off on tangents, and that's fine. But don't put others in danger.
No.
Don't risk other people. Don't put others at risk. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
You'll never get it. You think it's fake? Go talk to Charlie. Talk to Angela. Talk to people that lost loved ones. Talk to the families of the 400,000+ people that died in the United States. I don't have time for them, to be honest with you. I just don't, because stupid is as stupid does. That's just the bottom line. And if I offend anybody, unfriend my ass. You don't have to be here. Sorry. It's just we've been following this too long. And sorry, that was inappropriate.
It is what it is, But the problem is that there are a small percentage of us you guys, Kapu Breakers, some of the people who are so maka'ala, very vigilant, they they're careful, but it's a small percentage, and the rest they're just out doing whatever they think. They laugh at us, like the guy that called me a snitch. He said he thinks he knows me. Yeah, well, he came from Pennsylvania. He's a felon. He's a felon. He's got domestic violence. He's got terroristic threatening, and he went after one of my members. I might be a nice person. They say nice people come in last. I don't come in last ever, even if I'm nice. He better watch his okole, because that's all I'm going to say.
Well, gosh, that hour and 15 minutes went by quick. Angela, what words of wisdom or caution, or what do you want to tell our viewers?
I want to say something about the KF94 mask from Korea. It's known as the origami mask. It is a really odd shape, and when you look at it online, it's like, that's supposed to cover my face? We ordered. It is snug around your nuzzle. It fits around your nose. It's tight underneath your chin. It won't move when you talk, and it sits out far enough that you can breathe. Get a KF94 mask if you can. If you work all day, you're out there and you have trouble, that mask is going to help you. It's going to help you to be able to breathe and have some room and to be snug. Wear your goggles or glasses if you're out around people. We now know that there is ocular transmission of COVID. So if people have worn a mask and have got COVID, it's likely that they got it through their eyes. Just get safety glasses. It's easy. And sometimes they look kind of cool. Or wear wraparound glasses. Anytime you're out with your grocery store or wherever, or being around people, mask up. Try the KF94 mask. Get eye protection. Just be very careful and keep the tips coming. Keep the tips coming. As exhausted as I will get, I will make sure that we follow through. Most of my Honolulu team is non-existent just because they're back to work. They had to go back to work. But we have great teams on neighbor islands that all pull together. We all kokua. We all help each other, whether it's Oahu or Kauai, Misty, or Hawaii Island, Jada, or Teddy, who's also helping us now. They all have a talent. They all come together, and if we all do that, we kokua together, we can get in that canoe and paddle together and get through this. So, yeah, that's my words of wisdom.
Awesome. Charles.
Well, I'd like to say thank you so much again, Angela, for joining us. Thank you for being on with Mel and I. To our viewers, what can I say? It's bad enough we do our part. You're still going to have people out there going over and beyond the wrong side, the dark side. There's really nothing much you can do. You can only do so much. As you heard today, it was CVS postponed their rollout, and they rolled it back to Friday now because of some glitch with the vaccines. So, there's all these things that are happening that's beyond our control. The control that you have is keeping yourself safe. Like Angela said, you get different kind of mask. If you don't have, or you can't afford it, you get the disposable mask. Where to? Increase those supply. Okay. If you can't find a mask that fits on right, use one of those medical tapes. Just tape it around the nose area if you're going to use it all day, and seal it up. They also sell these little silicone pucks that you put it on your face before you put on a mask. So it creates a breathing slot, but yet it keeps everything around you snug fit. That way, you keep yourself safe at all times. Because what I'm trying to say is this: don't worry about the knuckleheads out there. Okay, things are going to happen. You worry about yourself. That's what this show is about. We tell you to worry about yourself. If you have to, and you have to forget, we want to be good Christians, but sometimes we got to use wisdom. You might have to push the person on the side away from you if the person doesn't want to comply in keeping you and their self safe. Okay? Just remember that. Mel?
Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Angela, again for making it an exciting hour and a few minutes. You're very popular. You're a celebrity, and our viewers love you.
always flying by the seat of my pants. Hey, Mel, I'm going to be a few minutes late.
Yeah, we got that. I almost showed the text to everybody on the camera, but I figured that would not be appropriate. By the way, speaking of appropriate, I apologize for the appropriate language sometimes, but you know what? This is passionate. It's my passion. Sometimes it gets the best of me. It is what it is. You know, I see when I say things like that, the numbers drop instantly, which is good. They leave and they don't come back, and that's fine too. It's just it is what it is. So thank you. Keep up the good work. Keep us posted
Thank you. You too.
on Angela and again, you know, we're always here for when new announcements or breaking stories got to be told. This platform is open for you anytime.
Thank
Anytime.
you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm
To
here
our
for you
viewers,
guys too. So, yeah.
to our viewers, thank you all for sticking with us again. We will be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, and you guys
Yeah,
all
we're gonna
stay.
have Doctor
Huh?
tomorrow night. We're gonna have Doctor Fuchi tomorrow.
Doctor who?
Fuchi.
Fucci? I thought he was Thursday. Okay, tomorrow night.
That's Fucci, not
Yeah.
Fauci.
Yeah, Fauci. He thought he
You,
was talking to
you, you,
Fucci,
you,
but it was Fauci. I mean, he thought he was talking to Fauci, but it was Fucci. It's gonna
we'll
be
talk
fun.
about how to make sushi tomorrow, so don't worry. Come on, join us.
All right, you guys. You guys all stay safe. Take care. We love you guys. God bless. Aloha.
Aloha.